I'll be honest, this video is going to be tough for many of you. Have you ever wondered why so many software engineers quit even after landing the so-called dream job? You worked hard, got the title, the paycheck, maybe even the free food, and yet instead of feeling secure, you feel drained and replaceable. That's because the struggles you have already heard of, the burnout, the layoffs, impostor syndrome, crazy interviews, and now the fear of AI, these are just the surface level cracks. The deeper truth is much harsher. These aren't glitches in the system, they are the system. And unless you see the hidden traps baked into tech, you will keep running on someone else's treadmill thinking you are moving forward. In this video, I'm going to expose 6 of these hidden traps, from the so-called passion exploit to the middle squeeze, and more importantly, I'll show you how to dodge each one of them. By the end, you will see not just how the game is rigged, but also how to play it on your terms and build a career you can actually live with. I've been building and working with tech for over a decade, and I've made just about every beginner mistake you can think of. My goal here is to share the shortcuts I wish someone had handed me when I was starting out. So whether you are preparing for your first job or looking to grow in your career, subscribe so you can get the real world advice that you can apply right away. First, I need you to understand something very important. These harsh realities aren't meant to scare you away from software engineering. They're meant to wake you up. Because here is the sneaky part. Most people do see these traps. They feel the long hours draining them. They can sense when another round of layoffs is upon them. But instead of questioning and understanding the system, they assume it's their fault. They think, if only I learned faster, if only I worked harder, if only I proved myself a little bit more. And that's exactly why these traps work so well. Picture this. It's 12 a.m., your laptop is still open, and you're fixing one last bug. You tell yourself, this is what good engineers do. Push harder, stay later, deliver more. That's the story the industry sells. Burnout is part of the job, and if you are tired, it proves you're serious. But here is the lie. Burnout isn't an accident. It is not the cost of ambition and passion. The system is designed this way. Companies know that if you are passionate about your craft, you will push yourself and volunteer for extra work. They don't have to demand it. Your passion does the heavy lifting. In fact, it's cheaper to cycle through a passionate, hungry engineer than to make work actually sustainable. That's why the pattern repeats itself. Bright hire, heroic pace, quiet exhaustion, exit, next bright hire. The company doesn't lose, you do. It's like loving to drive. At first, every mile feels like freedom. But if you never stop for fuel or maintenance, that same joyride burns the engine. Your passion can either power you or burn you out. So here is what you can do. Guard a slice of that passion for yourself. Protect your weekends the way you would protect sleep before a big hike. Build in pauses the way construction crews build in safety checks. That's how you keep passion as a spark, not as a fuse. And even if you manage your energy perfectly and avoid burnout, there is a bigger storm you can't control. The moment the company decides it no longer needs you. When layoffs hit, the first thought in every engineer's head is, glad it wasn't me. We treat them like freak accidents, unlucky if you are in the wrong place or lucky if you dodge it. But the truth is harsher. Layoffs aren't accidents, they're part of the business cycle. Companies staff up fast when the money is flowing, and when the pressure hits, they cut just as quickly. It's not personal, it's structural. It's like living in a flood zone. You can build the sturdiest house on the block, but when the water rises, everything at street level gets swept away. Your performance won't always protect you. Your position will. So how do you avoid drowning at ground level? Well, build upper floors for yourself. For example, one side project or skill that isn't tied to your current employer's job. Your professional network outside your immediate team that you check in regularly. A second floor portfolio, such as a visible trail of work on GitHub, blog posts, public talks that live beyond any single job. That way, when the flood comes, you're not scrambling for sandbags, you already have stairs to climb. But even if you survive the flood of layoffs, there is another trap waiting, which is the treadmill under your own feet that never lets you feel caught up. If this is helping you out, please like and subscribe. It tells me to make more videos like this. And if you got a question or a different take, drop it in the comments, and I'm always curious to see what you think. Every engineer hears the same advice: keep learning or you will fall behind. So you cram tutorials, chase new frameworks, sign up for every new course. The invisible promise is that if you just run fast enough, you will eventually get ahead. But here is the reality. You're not on a road, you are on a treadmill. You're running, sweating, spending energy, but you're not actually getting closer to the finish line because the belt never stops moving. And that's what learning in tech feels like, a treadmill with no stop button. At first, it feels motivating, but after miles of running, you realize you are in the exact same spot, watching the wall in front of you. So what do? Step off strategically. This week, list out the 3 skills that matter most for your next role, and that is your road. Everything else, park it for now. The treadmill will always be there. You don't have to stay stuck on it. But even if you step off the treadmill and focus, there is another squeeze coming, not from what you don't know, but from the rise of AI pressing right against your career. Everyone says AI will take out junior engineers first, and that part is true. Most AI tools can already write code and build apps that a new grad might spend days on. That makes juniors the first to feel the squeeze. Mid-levels, meanwhile, breathe easy, thinking, I've got experience, I'm safe. But here's a trap. The squeeze doesn't stop at juniors. Once companies see AI cutting entry-level costs, the same logic moves up the chain. If the machine can do half the work, why are we paying full price for mid-levels? The expectation keeps rising, and sooner or later, it hits the middle too. It's like living in an apartment where the landlord raises the rent every year. At first, it's the new tenants who struggle, but eventually, even the ones who thought they were comfortable feel the pressure until they either move up to ownership or get priced out. So what is the move for engineers? By the way, if this all feels a bit overwhelming, I get it. I've been right where you are. That's why I put together a free guide and worksheet to help you figure out the best role for you and prep without wasting weeks on stuff you don't need. So grab it from the link in the description. It's totally free, and honestly, it's gonna save you a ton of time. So bottom line, don't get stuck paying rising rent. Move up, meaning shift into ownership, which is architecture, system design, business strategy that AI cannot easily copy. Move forward, meaning master AI tools so you deliver more value for the same rent. Ask yourself, what can I do that AI can? Even if you escape the squeeze by moving up or forward, there is another trap waiting, which is chasing bigger paychecks, only to find that even the highest salary doesn't buy real freedom. In tech, money is the scoreboard. Bigger roles, bigger companies, bigger paychecks. And the assumption is simple. Once you cross a certain salary, the stress melts away and freedom kicks in. But here's the problem. Although each raise buys a little more comfort, it doesn't buy you control of your time. Because as the paycheck grows, so does your accountability. You don't leave the rat race, you just run on a nicer track. It's like being a dog whose leash is now twice as long. At first, it feels liberating, more space to roam, more room to breathe, but the leash is still there. The moment you try to sprint too far, it snaps tight and pulls you back. So what do? Use the extra leash to build your exit, not just roam further. Take 5% of your next paycheck and put it somewhere that buys back leverage, like an index fund or funding a side project. The number isn't the point, the habit is, because the only way to break the leash is to invest in things that don't keep you tied to someone else's paycheck. But I get it. It's easier said than done. In fact, becoming financially independent as a software engineer requires knowledge of both the system and the craft. You can't just write code, you have to understand the game behind the job, how companies think, how money flows, and how to turn your skills into leverage. If this video showed you the harsh realities, the next one shows you the opportunities, the 6 specific paths engineers can take to become millionaires. And here's a twist. It's not about being the smartest coder in the room. It's about knowing where to focus your energy so your work compounds. So if you want to see what those paths look like, the ones most engineers never even consider, join me in the next video.